Hi, I'm Hyunji, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create your own practice journal and how I create my practice journal. I first started creating a system of notes or starting my own practice journal back when I started my undergrad in conservatory. And it was just a way for me to jot down notes after my lessons so I could remember what my teacher said about certain pieces, because I wasn't able to write all the notes down during lesson. And after a day or two, I forgot actually what my teacher said and I didn't know what to work on. So I would write it down quickly, and I also kept a notebook and jotted down any notes during master classes that I wanted to keep. And then I decided I had so much to practice. I had my warm-ups, my scales, etudes, concertos, sonatas. I was in chamber groups. I had juries coming up, and I needed a system to organize my practicing so I can get it all done efficiently. So then I started creating a practice journal where I decided during this practice session I would get this done in this amount of time, and it seemed to help. I know a lot of you going to music school, or from personal experience, right when I walk on campus, I'm like, oh, I need to run to the practice rooms. I need to get there. I need to unpack and just start touching the cello, because I was so anxious all the time about having to practice, and it felt like I never had enough time to practice. But then looking back now, that's one of my biggest regrets. I wish I had planned a little bit more before I practiced, so I could really be efficient with the time that I had. I also liked the practice journal because it kind of let me look back and track my progress. Oh, this is what I was working during this time. Oh yeah, a year ago I was still worried about my thumb and I still have to work on my thumb. Or like the things that I improved on. Back then I worried about that, but now I don't worry about that at all. So it was really helpful for me to keep a journal as well. I'm so sad that I can't find the practice journal I've been keeping for the past 5 years. I lost it as I was moving here. If I find it, I'll make sure to show you guys. But this is the new one that I'm going to be starting today. After I got married, I honestly haven't been able to practice as much as I want to. And I realized partially it's because I wasn't keeping up with my journal. So if I had been, I would have been much more accountable to keeping up with the schedule. So now that I'm starting a new notebook, I'm going to stay super accountable to practicing every day. And since I don't have as much time to practice after school, I didn't believe my teachers when they said I wouldn't have time to practice. We really don't have time to practice after you graduate. I realize I need to schedule more so I can really use whatever time I have super effectively. Okay, so I'm going to actually start with today. I'm going to practice tonight. I know I only have about an hour to practice, and so I'm going to try to organize my practice in that hour. So I'm going to write my very first practice entry for today. And today is I know I have about an hour, so I'm just gonna jot that down. And I want to start with warm-ups today. You should always start with warm-ups. Today I'm going to practice 1 4 3 4, 1 3 2 3. Oh, oops, 1 4 2 4, and then 1 3 2 3. This is one of my favorite finger exercises, and I'm gonna do this A through G string. I like to jot down really quickly what I want to focus on today. I want to focus on strong fingers, light forearms. Sorry, my writing is so messy and it's not very aesthetic, but if I focus on writing really pretty, I get pressured to make everything pretty and then I end up not doing it. So I'm just going to jot down, and I really just try to spend 5 minutes so I don't, waste time just writing things down and actually taking away from my practice time. And then the next one I'm going to do are my octaves. I'm going to do that all strings, and it's my shifts. I'm going to feel string lead with big muscle. And some of this stuff may not make sense to you, but it really makes sense to me. So jot it down as quickly or as simply as you need, but just make sure it makes sense to you. And usually when I was in school, I would have like a whole page of things that I micromanaged the time so I can fit it all in and get everything done. But now that I graduated and all my concerts are canceled, I don't really have too much on my plate, but I do have something I need to practice, and that is the cadenza of the Chaik Rococo. One of my students is playing this piece, and I realized it's been so long since I actually looked at it. I'm actually going to relearn it so I can help him get better fingerings. So because I have like first-hand experience playing it now, and it's a lot different than I played it before, so I think it'll be useful. 15 minutes on the warm-ups, and the rest of the time, maybe 55 minutes. Yeah, that adds up to an hour. And then in the cadenza, I'm going to tune chords, and then slow, no vib, metronome. I always try to make my cadenzas fit with the metronome first, so I have the pillars of the rhythm, and then I figure out what rubato I want to do. So today, that's actually all I'm going to try to accomplish. So I just finished practicing, and I am going to go back to my practice journal, and in that space that I left below, I'm actually going to write what went right, what happened during the practice session, so the next day I can look at it and plan my practice session for tomorrow depending on what happened yesterday. Fingers a bit stiff. Practice 1, 4, 3, 4 every day for the next week, and then shifts. I found myself not thinking about the pitch before I shifted, so think of shift before, or thinking about the intonation of the note that I am shifting to. I wasn't thinking about that, so like out of the 5 times that I shifted, I would make it 3 times, but if I did think of the intonation, I would be able to make it, I think, every single time. Shift, note, intonation before. And then I actually thought the cadenza, I practiced slowly today, so speed up tomorrow, and then add rubato, because I was taking it quite under tempo and a little bit slowly. And then maybe 2 times I'm gonna try practicing running it, so not stopping to practice it all the way through. So if I write this down now, the next day I can look back and see exactly what I did and where I have to leave off in my practice. I hope this video was useful in any way. I know it was more of me talking to you, but try it. Try keeping a practice journal. As simple, it doesn't have to be in a fancy notebook. It could just be a spiral or a notepad where you take 5 minutes before to just organize what you're going to do and what you want to get done in that hour. And remember, quality over the quantity. And don't underestimate yourself, but don't overestimate as well. You know your limitations, so only write down what you know can be done in that amount of time. And subscribe down below to stay updated about the next video. Thank you for watching.